Hello everyone and welcome back to Gold Mining Simulator. As we continue our little Let's Play series, I thought we would go through a guide on how to set up the mobile wash plant. So that's what this video is all about. This is kind of my take on the best way to set it up for the most efficiency. So let's run through everything we need and then we'll head to the shop and show the cost. So obviously we'll need the mobile wash plant and we'll need a few buckets here. So the mobile wash plant requires power and also water. We also need the wavetable to process this gold that we wash through, clear out all the dirt and provide gold nuggets. Now the good thing about the wavetable is the gold will automatically go in your inventory. You won't have to pan the gold or anything. This does it all for you. So next we have the small electric water pump. Now I prefer the electric water pump to the diesel water pump. Yes, you do have to spend a little bit more money, but I do think it's definitely more efficient. We have a mobile generator to provide us with the power that we need for the wavetable, the wash plant and the electric pump. Now over here we have a power splitter to go from high voltage to low voltage. Here we have a water splitter to go from high pressure to lower pressure. Just move this one out the way. So here we have two high voltage power cables. We have two thin water hoses. We have two low voltage power cables. And here we have two fat water hoses and we have the water filter on the end. Now that's pretty much everything you need to get all set up. Now, as I said, when you are doing the hog panning and stuff, you will already have a diesel water pump, but I find over time it ends up costing a lot in fuel and you keep having to run backwards and forwards to the town to fill up. So that's why I prefer this one. So let's head over to the shop and we will work out how much all of this costs. So here we are at the wonderful shop. So first of all, what we need is the mobile wash plant. So as you can see here, that's at 6,700. So we're going to order one of those just so we can work out the overall price. Next, we need a wavetable, which can be found over here. So that's just under 5,000. So we're going to order one of those. We have the electric pump here. So we're going to grab that one as well. We have the mobile generator. So we'll grab one of those and let's go ahead and we need two low voltage power cables. We need two high voltage power cables. We also need two of the thin water hoses, two of the fat water hoses. We're also going to need one of these water splitters and we are also going to need this one here, the power splitter. And then last but not least, we need a filter. So if we head over here to the spare parts section, just in case you're struggling to find it, you can find the water filters just here. So we will order one of those. So let's go and see the accumulated cost of all of that. So we head over here to the till. We can see that it's just under 15,000. So that's pretty much how much you need to save in order to get your first little wash plant. One thing you do want to bear in mind actually, just before we head back to the claim, I've just remembered, we are going to need something to dig up all of that dirt. So if we head over to the machinery, you think, oh no, I need to try and find the money to afford a excavator. Well, not entirely, no. So that's just under 15 grand that we have just spent. So if we head over here to the machinery shop just here, we'll just dump our car here for now. And we have a couple of excavators over here. So we have a small one and we have the big one. Obviously there's no need for this big one, but this small one is 18,000. So if you really want to grind to hardcore and save up an extra 18,000 and buy this outright, you can. But what you can also do is rent it. So daily rental 734. So what you could do is rent it. So if we go to rent just there and then we'll head over to this, it will give us a cost. So we can go here and we just need to pay the 734 for day one and then it will deduct that amount of money after that. Transport wise, that will cost you a little bit as well. So if we go ahead and put that, so as you can see, it will cost us around about 3,000. Sorry, that was with the mobile wash plant. So for the small excavator, it will cost 1,500 to transport it as well. So you're looking at a rough cost of about 18,000, give or take a little bit. So you probably want to save around about 20,000 to give yourself a couple of days rental as well. So that's that sorted. We'll head back to the claim and I'll show you how to get it all set up. Okay, so first of all, what you want to do is you can hook up your mobile wash plant to your truck and you can park it in your desired location, depending on where you want to build your plot of land. So just for argument's sake, if we go to the gold map, you can see that I've mapped out quite a few of this. Now this is where the drill comes in handy. Now if you make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe, you will see that very shortly I'll be releasing a beginner's guide, like the best way to start this game, and the drill does incorporate this. So before you even get to the wash plant, renting the drill for a day or two is a real good option. As I said, a lot more of that will be explained in that video. Okay, so let's get to getting everything set up. Before, just quickly, where we have our filter separate, where we just bought it from the shop, we can just connect that to a hose, and we'll be using that hose in a moment. So what we need to do is we need to grab this pump, so the electric water pump, and we need to shove it up here somewhere. So we can drag it all the way anywhere over here is pretty fine. I'm going to pop it right here next to the caravan. Kind of want to rotate it round, so we've got our in just there. So that's where our water supply in is going to go. We're just going to run back over here, and we are going to grab our fat water hose with our filter on. Now with our hose in hand, you can see that it indicates where we can place it. So I want to select the in, and then we have the filter end in our hand. We're just going to hop over here, and we are just going to plonk this in the water, just like so. Let's see if we can go a little bit further. So we're just going to plonk it just in there. So that's perfect. So we've got 41 out of 50 meters. So the fat water hoses, we can do 50 meters. So we probably could go a little bit longer actually. So we're going to pop that there. We're going to move this a little bit more and see if this will reach. Nope. So it's a little bit annoying that with the water hose, especially when you've got it coiled up, you can't actually stretch it out. Like you can't unwind it without it being attached to something. Or if you do know a way of doing that, then please let me know in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, so we have our 50 meter length from here, and now we need the other fat water hose to kind of toodle along down here. Okay, so now we're back here. We're going to grab the low voltage power cable. The reason how I know it's low voltage power cable, just because I've done this a few times, but once we get back here, I'll show you how you can tell. So if we just pop this here, you can see where the electrical input is. That one is yellow, which matches with the low voltage power cable. So we can then grab that, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, these are 30 meter lengths. But what we can do is plug that in, drag it as far as we can, and what we'll probably do is wind this back up. Actually, we'll try and make this a bit neat and tidy so it's not going all over the place. So what we'll do is we'll drag it over here, sort of just so it's not in our dig site. And then once you reach the maximum length, it will automatically pop out your hand. So we know that that is where that's going to need to go. So from there, what we can do is we can grab our splitter. We can pop this just over here, and we can connect this low voltage power cable over here to this splitter. There we go. So now we can grab our other water hose, and we can go all the way along to our pump for our out section and bring it around the same direction. So that can go into our out, and this can go over here as well, probably a little bit longer. That should do around about there. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to get to our splitter. And if the orientation of your item you're holding isn't in the right way, if you hold right click or right mouse button and move your mouse, you can rotate it round. So we're going to do that and pop that just there. So now we can pop this in there, and we have our splitter. So next we have our mobile generator. So the generator I'm going to leave kind of as close as possible, but not sort of in the way of our dig site. So I'm going to put that there. We're going to close that cap that I accidentally opened. The wave table, we're going to move to over here. I need to remember the right orientation for this. The wave table can be a little bit janky, but that's okay. Power switch there. Perfecto. Okay, and we're just going to grab a bucket as well. Perfect. So now what we can do is from our generator, we can go ahead and grab the high voltage power cable, plug that into there, and then we're going to plug that into that one. We're going to grab another high voltage power cable. We're going to plug that into our generator. We're going to swing round this way so we don't get into the way of anything, and plug that into there. That looks pretty neat and tidy if you ask me. And we're going to grab this one, which we could either go from our splitter to our wave table, or we can just go into the generator as it's got a point here. We'll bring this round and we will plug that into our wavetable. Now all we need to do is supply these two with water. So that's where our two thin water hoses come in. So we can first of all swing round here, pop that in there. We're going to take a long run all the way up to our splitter. Should be plenty distance. Oh no, we may have a little problem. I might have gone too far with that. Let's see if we can stretch it out a little bit more. Okay, so we might have to take a more direct route, which is fine. So we'll have to call this back up. Perfect. Okay. So we might need to move the wavetable a little bit closer. So we're just going to uncle this over here. Perfect. Okay. So we'll do this again. We will. And this is where a little bit of management comes in to try and get the best out of a bad situation. So we're going to connect it to here. We're going to run this way. We're going to see how long that is. So that does reach to about there. So we can move our wavetable. We can pop the wavetable down here somewhere. Hopefully that will sit nicely there. And then we can go ahead and connect to the... Now we do need to connect to the wash plant, so that's where it's going to be a bit tricky. So we might need an extender, which I think I have got. So you might, as I said, need to buy an extender, especially if your wash plant is all the way over there. So we're just going to take a quick run over here and grab an extender that I have in storage. I don't think these extenders are too expensive if I remember rightly, but we are going to grab one. Hopefully I have got one. I have. So thin water hose connectors, what they're called. I call them extenders because that's pretty much what they are. They extend your hose. I'm pretty sure I've got another thin hose somewhere as well, so we'll probably have to utilize that. So we're going to pop that over here. We are going to grab this. I wonder if I can just go direct from there to there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to reach, but we're going to find out. Oh, is it going to reach? Oh, it is going to reach. Okay, interesting. I wonder why it didn't reach that way, although that is on its limit. So that's 30 meters. So we just about got away with it. So that is absolutely perfect. So now with our generator absolutely full, we can flick this on. That will start up. You should notice we've got a power supply just there, water supply here, so we are receiving water from the pump, so that's good. We have a water supply and power to our wavetable, which we can flick on like that, and then we also have power and everything to our mobile wash plant. So what we need to do is, I just like to stack my buckets here. You don't really need that many buckets. I just like to have a few when a bit overkill and we're having a little bit of an issue. Okay, well, I like to just stack them on there, but it looks like they're not playing ball, so we're going to pop these just down there on the floor. Grab our bucket and it highlights where we can put it. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and do some digging. So what we want to do is want to dig this lot up here, swing this round and empty. We'll go again. Hopefully we get some decent amount of gold. So basically we have two icons. We have one where the excavator digs in and then the other one on 8%. So we're going to get this lot dug up and we're going to see how much money we make out of this. Hopefully we make quite a bit. We haven't got too much wasted so far, so we're doing pretty well. Okay, so now that's all processed. Let's see how we do. So once that's all done, we just grab the bucket out of here. We pop this into our wavetable. We flack our wavetable on. And as you can see, our gold is increasing where it's doing a good job of processing. So looks like we picked up a nice big yield here. So there we go, everyone. And that is how you set up the mobile wash plant in what I think is a very efficient way. A little bit on the expensive side, but I'm pretty sure you'll make your money back in no time at all. So if you have liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more of gold mining simulator content coming. The next season is going to be upon us, so we're going to try that out for the first time as well. So as I said, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. But it's been Kryptonite here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.